As we've been reporting, Secretary of State Antony Blinken urged Israel and the Palestinians Monday to de-escalate tensions after an increase of violence in the region. A Palestinian gunman killed 7 people and injured several others Friday outside a synagogue in East Jerusalem. The next morning, a 13-year-old Palestinian boy shot and wounded 2 Israelis near Jerusalem's Old City. This all follows an Israeli military raid Thursday that killed 10 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. For more on this, I am joined now by Elise Labott. She's a professor at the American University School of International Service. Elise, let's start. Can you just put this latest violence in perspective? How did we get here, and how does this compare to some of those other periods of spikes in violence?
Good to be with you, John. Well, it's certainly one of the worst periods in many, many years. And how did we get here? I mean, you did see a relative period of calm under the last government, that unity government of Naftali Bennett and Yair Lapid, who were going to trade off the prime ministership. They didn't agree on whether there should be a 2-state solution, but they did agree that there should be efforts to lower the tension, to possibly make some provisions so that the Palestinians could at least improve their quality of life, and that might build some confidence between the two parties. Now you have the government of Benjamin Netanyahu come in, and you've heard the cliche, the most right-wing government in Israeli history, but it bears repeating that that's really true. But what does that mean? That means that Prime Minister Netanyahu, even before this latest round of violence, was under a lot of pressure from his government to take measures against the Palestinians, to possibly build more settlements. So there was that charged atmosphere already. And that was what Secretary Blinken was going into in the first place. Yeah. Then you had the visit recently of one of his ultra-nationalist ministers to a very holy site in the Old City in Jerusalem. And so that kind of, lifted a powder keg. You might remember that was how the second Intifada started, where thousands of Palestinians were killed, about 1,000 Israelis were killed. And now we're back in this cycle of violence. So obviously that doesn't justify any terrorist attack by the Palestinians, but you see that this right-wing government kind of, is certainly not taking measures to lower the temperature, and the Palestinians are taking the bait.
Enter into this moment is the Secretary of State. First, set the stage for the complexities of what he's going into, including, among other things, that the U.S. is asking the Israelis for some of the weapons that they've been giving the Israelis so that they can use them in Ukraine, among the other things that they need from the Israelis. But set the stage for what Antony Blinken has to manage, and then what did you make of what he has said so far?
Okay, so let's go back very quickly to the beginning of the administration. This administration was really hoping with that old unity government that they could really take their foot off the gas in terms of Mideast peace relations. They were kind of parking it for a while. The Israelis had, been moving with the Abraham Accords with other Arab states and peace deals with them. And so they thought they could turn their attentions elsewhere. President Biden had other foreign policy agenda. Now you have the war in Ukraine. And then Prime Minister Netanyahu comes in. This trip by Secretary Blinken was on the books for a while, and he was going to go out and say to Prime Minister Netanyahu, listen, I know you're under a lot of pressure from your government, but let's keep tensions down. Let's not take any moves that are going to upset the apple cart here. Then you had this recent round of violence. So now he's going in, there's no talk of peace. There's no talk of a 2-state solution. Secretary Blinken wasn't really going there to discuss that in the first place. But now all he can really do is try and urge Prime Minister Netanyahu to say, listen, I know you have to answer your security questions. I know you have to take certain measures, but maybe measures such as bombarding the houses of the suspects, boarding them up, taking away the rights of families of Palestinian suspects. That's only going to make things even harder. And then, of course, there's the Iran question that they need to talk about.
All right, Elise Labott, thank you so much for being with us.